Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with Miguda. Miguda, how are you doing?
Bro, I'm doing good.
Yeah,
I'm all good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. I'm still in Kisumu after 72 hours of sending off of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Today, it came the end of an era to the people's president, that is Raila Amollo Odinga. Makubura, how are you doing?
Good, good evening. I'm doing good. Uh, and I'm doing good. We've taken time to mourn, and we are still in the period of mourning.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that is the situation. I'll give more details
Mm.
coming.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. Today, as the Right Honorable Prime Minister was laid to rest, there is an end of an era of Raila Molodinga. If you look at Raila's life, even the stories that were being given during the send off. There's a picture that if you listen to what Oburu said, what Mama Ada said, what his children said, what his political leadership, and everybody who was given an opportunity to speak about Raila, each and every one of them spoke quite much differently of him on how they know him. And it tells you that today there was that era of that was coming to an end, and he was going to start another journey. And by him starting another journey, it means even when you look at our political landscape, people are going to start another journey, especially when you look at the ODM, the country, the president, and everybody. It is a new journey. But like what we want to look at, we want to look at the speeches that were being made, because there are quite some of the speeches that we picked, especially despite them being eulogizing Raila as somebody of the great nation, and some of them saying that they want to live and follow the legacy of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. My question is, even if Raila Odinga was still alive, Raila was fighting for those people to the laws that people should follow, and how should people live. And they did not, up to today, they did not follow them. What makes us believe that all that was said by the leaders, that they're going to make sure that all that Raila started is going to be brought in completion? I'm not very sure. So that is one thing that we will also look at and talk about it. I also picked a situation whereby there was a ODM political undertones in it. Those who still and those who not still supporting the broad-based government. For instance, Edwin Sifuna was very clear. I can remember, and I can also say categorically that when Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, the good governor of Kisumu, when he spoke, he did not mention something about broad-based government. Orengo too did not mention Sifuna. So when you look at the Sifuna, the Orengos, and Nyong'o, they were very, very, very much categorical on what they say, and especially on how their stand has been on the broad-based government. I also look on the other side, especially those who are from ODM, especially the governor of Homa Bay, Dr. James Nikal, and Ledama Olekina. Those were given opportunity to speak, including the CS for energy, Opio and I. You would see there is still that. So, but our question is, will this one put, or will this one still make ODM to stay put and actualize the dreams that Baba has for ODM, or ODM uh, might split immediately after the burial of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga? So that is what we want to discuss today, and just to look at what happened. I also want to take this opportunity also to thank President, because if you look at the crowds that were there, actually, what Oburu said, if the president could have not brought in assistance, especially from the state and resources, I think it could have been overwhelming, especially to the family of the Right Honorable Prime Minister. The crowd controls, the people who came. Remember when immediately after lowering him down and the flowers, the president left, you see, his supporters actually broke and came where um, his body was lowered until the police had to come and also control the crowd. So, that one. So those are some of the things that we have to look at. And we would say that thank you to Mr. President actually for doing such a wonderful job. Also, we also have to thank the supporters of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga for showing the love they had for Raila Odinga, if you, so not so many people would get such support even in their death, but Raila has proven us wrong, especially in the political field, that sometimes we would give our analysis and say that okay, Raila ameisha kwa ground, but that was now he has proven us that he was still popular, and for sometimes he will still even remain popular in his death. So that is also something that we would want to say. We also saw the political class that was being led by His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. When he was given an opportunity to speak, he also recognized members of his opposition team, that is Eugene Wamalwa, Matiang'i, and Martha Karua. Also, he did mention that. So it means everybody was represented in the send-off of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Maybe to come to you, Mr. Makobura, what would you say about today's event, especially the speeches and the eulogies that were given by the Right Honorable Prime Minister, family, the Jaramogis, then there's the Prime Minister's family, then also the friends and the political class.
Okay. Thank you so much, Thank you so much, Brother Ben. Allow me to say hi to our good friend Barak, who has also joined. And what I can say about today's speech, of course, it was more of a reflection of a life well lived, and more of the stories or the narrations we had were majorly based on the early lives of Raila Amollo Odinga. Of course, it reminded us more on matters of history. It reminded us more on where Raila came from, and the struggles and every bit of his life, all those things that he went through, all those things that he passed through on his way to becoming the enigma of the Kenyan politics, on his way to becoming the Baba of the Republic of Kenya, on his way to becoming the people's president. So I think if you had each and every speaker, they were very specific, giving a detailed narration or a detailed story on the encounters and the interactions they had. They also gave a brief of the extraordinary things that they saw in Raila Amollo Odinga. And that was a good thing, because when you are mourning, you have to always remember part of the lifestyle that was lived by the individual, and that was very categorical. If we start from the family narrating, from the wife narrating all the stories on how they met, the difficulties during the times they met before he started politics, when he got into politics, and the many instances that he argued or had different opinions with the governments in power, the many times that he was arrested, the sufferings that they underwent as a family. When you come to the political side, You listen to his brother narrating their childhood life, starting,
Yeah.
of course, from the days that they used to go to school, coming again to the many times that they had different views on matters of on certain matters. Not forgetting, of course, when he got into politics and the many difficult decisions he had to make. Not, of course, forgetting again uh, the, the different opinions that he got from his close allies. Not forgetting, of course, the different the abuses or the insults that he got, the many what we call campaigns that he led, and the vigor or the energy that he used, to he applied while he was convincing the people of Kenya
Mm-hmm.
to stand with him. Of course, not forgetting the famous swearing in, one that really took the people of Kenya with a lot of shock, and not just that, even the people of Africa. Remember, Raila took time, and amidst all the rejections and all those kind of things, he went ahead as the president of the people, a move that was not really expected by much. Not forgetting that the many times that he presented himself before the people to be elected as the president of the Republic of Kenya, and even the famous nullification of the presidential election, something of its own kind in Africa. So what Raila did was simply he did massive, and his life is a pure reflection, and it's a pure encouragement. It is a pure what any father would have to go through if really they want to survive in matters of encouragement, in matters of leadership. A good move indeed.
All
That
right.
is my take.
Okay, thank you so much. I can see my brother Barak is also here, and Miguda. And also something that I also learned today is how the politics is all about, on how um, the people or those in the political class, that how they usually play their politics. I can remember how, I don't know how true it might be, especially this was coming from president. It was talking of how few months immediately after the election and after the Supreme Court, he looked for Baba. Actually, Baba did not look for him. That is what I got from him. And they had a conversation. He also talked about how they met with the former president, that is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And that one made me thinking that as the voters keep on fighting, or as the voters keep on creating that hate amongst themselves, the leaders in the top ranking of the political league are meeting and discussing the their daily lives, on how the country should be run. And that one is a big lesson, especially to the voters and even to Kenyans as large, that when it comes to politics, I know you might have a political party that you affiliate yourself with, or a political party that you share your ideology with, but that one does not give you permission, or that one does not guarantee you to hate another person with another political affiliation. So it teaches us that despite the fact that we might be having different political affiliation, different political views, we support different political personalities, but that one should not um, give us a pathway to uh, even go to an extent whereby people lose their lives. As you see, you've seen it in how our politics work. So that was a very good lesson that somebody would pick from there. Barak, I hope you're doing fine. Miguda, maybe before we invite Barak, what can you say about today's events? You know.
Okay, thank you. What I just want to say, about today's event. First, I want to acknowledge that the former Prime Minister has been granted a great, befitting send-off, an iconic send-off, one of a kind. That's how can I say, because indeed it was good, and that's reflect the stature of an icon. So that one, I'll just like to say, it was a very beautiful send-off in my view. I've learned many things, but I know, just like any other family, the family of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga is not exception. There are better times in a family, there are bad times in a family, but all in all, when we are grieving one of us, we must come together and unite as a family. But we put our differences aside, and we understand that indeed it is an end of an era, the way you have said. This is the beginning of a new era because the king has been buried. And I just want to focus on the political class because the family, we are now okay that they have done their part. They gave us Jaramogi, they gave us Raila, they have done their best. We appreciate for those two individuals in the transformation of this country. What I want to say about politics, and I just want to say two things. One, a politician might look good in microphone, more so in funerals. A politician might convince you that he's speaking a different language. Remember, these people have been around up to the last Baba breathe. And you remember, what is it that they are going to transform in ODM, which they were not going to transform? No, now we have laid the king to rest. We can now do politics. What is it that they are going to do in that ODM, which they could not do when Baba was alive? The unifying factor was alive. Then you are the people disturbing the unifying factor. When I say that, the unifying factor, akaenda. Then now it's dead. So do you think they are going to hold? I don't think so. On the second point, on my first point, I got 2 points. The first point. The second one is, let no one lie to you that if a politician speak today, then you believe him that he's going to do those things. No, there are those people who are just good to speak to people depending on the current situation. If they're the same people we have been in this country, we have been with them, and they have not been doing anything. So they want to lie to us that the fact that they are burying the king, now they are going to change within a millisecond and transform the country. I don't buy that on my personality. I don't care about other people, but for me, I don't buy that. Me, I still understand politicians the way I understand them. My second point, which is very important, and we have argued that here, we have discussed it here. Barack has been talking about it. Even you, Branson, have been talking about it. Partly Makura talk about it. And our good friend Joseph. Me, there is no day I'll follow a politician blindly because we have been saying this and we have been insisting. It's not about enmity or permanent friendship. It's all about interest. Why can't my fellow people understand these things? Very simple as that. It's about interest. And let no one lie to you. And I like what Mama Ida said. Mama Ida we can learn from her because she has spent most of her good time with Baba. Mama Ida said she doesn't care how many enemies Raila has. That is Raila's business. As for her, she's focusing on the friends of her. And when Raila was passing away, Wanjigi was partly not in good terms with Baba. But when Baba was being given state presentation at Nyayo, Wanjigi drove Mama Ida with the car to the Nyayo Today I saw Wanjigi. In fact, Wanjigi is part of the family and he has been sitting on the family tent. And remember, Baba was not in good terms politically. So what Mama Ida has taught me as a wife of politician, that it doesn't matter. Don't focus on the public enmity. Focus on the friendship. And that's what Jim Wanjigi has established. Their friendship with Baba, because Wanjigi has not been supporting Ruto. And Baba is in pro-based government. But the ties between Wanjigi and Raila has remained steadfast. That's a very good lesson I've learned from Mama Ida. And as a young person, I have to learn from the mama. Number two, you heard by all of us heard and watched them confessing that when they were with Baba at night in Baba's home, actually they took supper cooked by Mama Ida. So to that extent, look at that friendship. The other day, Brother Benson, you said us, I was at your home place. I don't know who cooked, but I was very confident because between me and you, we ate together. That trust. So the trust between Raila and Ruto, to an extent of eating a food cooked by Raila, the rival, the opponent, to me, and I said this thing when we were here with Barak and Makubura before we break for the holiday we had. The elites, and me, I've resided with the elites. The elites, they determine for the poor. The elites are never enemies. They are friends and they work together. And in fact, they do take advantage that, okay, because you are proposing this bill into parliament, it's going to affect my petroleum business. I'm going to take advantage. I go to the poor to incite them to oppose them, that reject this finance bill. But at personal level, when they meet at their level, they understand what they're doing. So, lastly, I've learned that let no politician drag you into his differences with his opponent. And I like William Ruto on one thing. William Ruto said, once William Ruto said, when he went to visit Baba, he went to Kisumu and said, told people Kisumu, shida ya William Ruto na Baba wachana nayo. Mimi kati yangu na Baba musingilie wananchi. Let us deal with the people. So with the citizens, we should learn, not that each and every time we have these things, then tomorrow you'll find people fighting. You are fighting your fellow citizens because of Ruto, Gachagua. My friend, we are Kenyans. Let's embrace each other. Let's work as a people. Let us not engage. And if people cannot learn from what Mama Ida said and what Ruto said, then I think we have a long way to go.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Miguda, for the observation that you made. I think all of us now, even Barak is going to assist us also to tell us the observation he made today, especially in the political class and everything that happened. And I was very keen today in what was happening, especially the life of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. It has confirmed to me, and this is something that we've talked about, on how when you die, or when at that time we pay your last respect, I tell you, or everybody will be saying good things about you. Today, in the evening, when the Right Honorable Prime Minister was being given the send off, I did not hear any politician who said anything bad or insult the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. It was all about praises. And this one makes me wonder, why if they know this is what is happening, then why would they just decide to put the Kenyan public in a situation whereby those tensions that's happened between the voters, if they know very well that they're usually in good terms? Everybody today was saying how good Raila was. Nobody even said one thing, that even during his time, Raila had not talked well with him. They talk about his forgiveness. They talk about what he really fought for, that is peace. He talked about the reconciliation. He talked about, that is all good words or the good values that was being talked about, as compared to some of whom we know, especially if we reflect back or we play those videos where during campaigns on what they used to tell the Right Honorable Prime Minister, they were sending good praises to him. I can remember even there was those who were saying that this time around we are going to take you to Bondo, you know. Those who are not there today. Anyway, that is politics. Barack, I hope you're doing fine. I want you also to at least share with us something that you picked, and we might switch gears for a while, for now, a little bit, and focus on ODM, because I saw, despite all of them putting or showing us that how they are going to make sure that the party that Baba formed for the 20 years that ODM has been there, that they're going to make sure that ODM is going to stay put. And we could see the cracks, deeper cracks than even what we are thinking. So Barak, maybe share with us what you picked, and from there now, when we come again, we are now going to look at the ODM, because that is what is going to be the center of conversation from the time the Right Honorable Body was laid down to rest, going forward.
Hey, Brother Ben, Mark, and Miguda, and good evening to all our viewers. Yes, I'm well, and I see my friend. I told GP Scona yesterday that we have a date with her today, and I'm talking about your date. And I know how she's feeling, because we understand these things, and when you wrestle your age mate na umweke chini, you feel good, because haujapata mtu mnyonge kuliko wewe, mmepatana watu ambao mnatoshana. So on what I picked today, I just emphasizing on what Miguda said. We've said here so many times that and I don't think Kenyans will ever learn, because the problem is not the politician, the problem is the Kenyans. But Kenyan politics is ethnic based and elite driven. Political elite drive politics because it serves their interest. But for them to do that, they have to ensure that it is ethnic based. You divide the people along ethnic line so that you can rule them. Yeah. And as they continue to clash, for example, the people from this ethnic group are seeing the other ethnic group as their enemy, the elites continue to serve their interest. And that's why you could hear Ruto saying categorically that he spoke to Baba about how to move this country from first world to second to third world, from third world to first world. And he also went and spoke to Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president, about the same idea. And they all agreed to do ABCD. These are political elites. Yeah. For them to serve their interest, they must ensure that the people, the masses, are ethnically divided. Yeah. So they will always divide the people so that they can continue ruling them. Because if these people are not divided, they can come together and unite and stop the elites from enjoying the wealth of the country. And that's why just look at these political elites. Look at how wealthy they are. Look at how all of them are billionaires. Yeah. Look at how all of them are traveling in choppers. Yeah. From Nairobi to home, they just bought a chopper. All of them, they have something like an airstrip within their homes. But look at the people that they are leading. Yeah. The people that they are leading, some of them cannot even afford bus fare from where they are to their workplace. They have to trek. They have to go using the Route 11. So this shows you that until when the people of this country will realize that the politics of this country are elite driven, and political elites are always dining behind the tents. As we insult each other on social media, as we call each other names, these guys are always together. They are cutting deals. When they are talking on how to move this country from where it is to the next level, they are cutting deals and how to do business with the state, continue enriching themselves and ensuring that their children and their grandchildren continue to rule and protect their ill-gotten wealth. That's why they are so much into hereditary. When one of them dies, they want the seat to remain in the same family so that they can continue to protect their ill-gotten wealth. And that is why they ensure that the people right now, look at how people are talking about the next kingpin. Look at the leadership of ODM. Anyway, we say that we're going to talk about ODM. So it's these things to be contained within the family, so that they can continue these elite businesses. The children of Uhuru Kenyatta, the children of William Ruto, the children of Raila Odinga, these people, they call each other, Saa ile wanaitana muganga, mtu akitendawili, ule sijui nani, na ikifika jioni wanakunywa uji pamoja. And you people are continue fighting each other. So I think Kenyans are not ready to understand this. Because look at how they interact with each other.
Maybe before you continue, it is not the first time that we are getting this, especially from politicians, especially when we are faced with such like events. We always know, but like when we learn as voters that politics is just like any other game that we might do, then after we are done with voting, we can go our ways and keep the friendship. That why do you find that it is the voters themselves that usually get this to the next extent that they create hate amongst themselves?
The political elites, they ensure that they divide the vote, the masses along ethnic lines, and they make other communities to look like enemies to their own communities, so that they can continue ruling over those communities. Just take an example of the Western Kenya, the Luhya community. You usually hear them talking about Luhya unity. And when they talk about Luhya unity, everybody has their own, every sub-tribe has their own party. Bukusus wako na Ford Kenya. The other side of Bukusu, wale wa Trans Nzoia wako na DAP. Ukikuja kwa Maragoli, they had their ANC, and the ODM pia iko pale. So you find that they're just telling you that tuungane ndio sisi tuendelee kufanya nini? Kwa dominate. And if they tell you that wale watu wanatunyanyasa sisi ndio maana wataki mimi nifanye nini, and that is what extends, and you'll realize that these people, once they have secured those positions, they become friends. The heat that was there during the campaign and all the insults and the threats and everything, mpaka unaona kama dunia inaenda kuisha. After election, and one of the elites secures that position, they become friends because now they are business partners. They must continue cutting deals. They must continue amassing wealth of the nation, and they must continue ensuring that their families continue to dominate the masses. And that is why they will never allow the people to be united unless the people maybe start now saying these things slowly. The way I see Miguda saying he will not follow a politician blindly, I am also not following a politician blindly. So as we continue growing, the number will continue growing, mpaka ile siku itafika mahali pa kuleta change. And we say that no, you are a political elite, we are not going to agree with you. And that is why I usually say that until we have a proper revolution in this country that will dismantle these structures that are elite driven, these structures that are protecting the interest of the elites, we will never have a proper change in this country.
All right.
Because the structures that are there, that were put in place at independence, and they have been feeding into the elite interest since independence. We complain of the current regime. When we replace the regime, the system continues to be the same. That's why you see that we hate the current president. Once he's retired, he becomes the best. We hate the current president. Once he retires, he becomes the best. Because the systems that are there, they are feeding elitism, and they are promoting elitism. So the masses cannot benefit from this kind of system. That's why I believe personally, this is my personal conviction, that until we have a revolution that will dismantle these systems, that will dismantle these structures, that will dismantle this elitism in our politics, we will never have a proper solution to our problems. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Barak, with that. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank Ayaga, Gibson Corner, and Judith on the comment section. And the ground is Babu Owino. Some people will still romance their imagination for a while, tell ok mingato. That is, the leadership is not given to somebody. So Telika, the leadership is taken. That is Ayaga. I'm not following any politician blindly too. I'm using my vote as a pillow. Thank you so much. And Judith, also, thank you so much for joining us. And gentlemen, we want to focus on something. We want to focus, or we want to have a conversation on especially what I look about ODM. Because when you listen to the members of ODM today, it was about where we are left. There are those who believe that in ODM, Baba told us to be here. When Baba say right, Baba say left. And there some of them also in the leadership of ODM or the members of ODM who feel otherwise. And I was very keen, especially to grasp, especially what the leaders were saying, especially when they were given podium. I was very keen on what High Excellency Governor for Homa Bay was going to say, and I was right, because like my mind had already told me where he's going to, what he was going to say. Not exactly, but the messaging was for her. That is something that I also listened to James Nikal, Opio and I, and and there were these two factions in ODM. When I listened to Nyong'o did not mention anything to do with the broad-based government, but I picked something as we talk about tribe. He was told by the Right Honorable Prime Minister to write a column about the issue of tribe, and he said that the tribe, if I may not quote him rightly, but this was something that was brought by colonization. He said something that Jo Kangane. Jo means people were referred with their tribes, and that was something I picked about Nyong'o. He spoke about Raila briefly, and he did not take long in the podium. I also listened to James Agri Orengo too. Orengo spoke about the Constitution, if you listen to him very keenly, and he did not go into the broad base, but he said that let us not make the gains that Raila has made, or the gains that have been made, especially in our country, to lose them. He also talked about the political parties. If you're right, he asked the president that the president should not kill political party, that which president replied, And I also listened to Edwin Sifuna. The one for Edwin Sifuna, too, was what Sifuna has always stood for in ODM. And as much as they spoke, at the end of their speeches, they promised the ODM fraternity that they're going to make sure that the ODM will stay united. But my question is, how can ODM stay united, yet in the presence when you are laying, or we are giving send-off to the person who had the ideals of that political party, but you're not speaking in one voice? That if you listen to Wanga is speaking about the broad-based government. If you listen to Dr. James Nikal, he's also saying that's where we were left. That is something that also you have to tell me. Then there's also something here that also, let us try to kind of like dissect it. And this idea that we were left in ODM because I'm seeing this division amongst the ODM, that the people who feel like the ODM that we were left at is like this group that were left, especially talk about the Luo. You know, as they speak, they fix that they were left there, so they have to stay there. And Edwin Sifuna said that it is the time that you should listen to the people, because Baba used to listen to the people. So that is what we want to discuss and say that, will ODM stand the test of time that he has for the last 20 years when Baba is not there? Will Oburu, the brother to the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the good senator of CIM, unite the ODM? You know, and you also listen to the president saying very well that he's not going to allow anybody who wants to bring or will put ODM to go to in the opposition. Then my question is, who decides? Because what is usually deciding, especially when you go for an election, what gives you the presidency or what gives you the administration are the people. How then do you want to tell me that is the president that is going to decide? Say that, oh, you ODM, you're no longer going to be in opposition. How is that one going to work? And the same time we are talking about the legacy of the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Let me start with you, Marco Buram. When you look at what surrounded, especially the leadership of ODM and the way the communication was being done, you would see that there are two parallel sides speaking differently. What would you say about that?
Okay, thank you. It's a little bit tough to speak about what was happening. I saw quite a number of leaders within ODM having different views. And funny enough, remember, they all had their own version, and they were saying that this is the version that I picked from Raila. Each and every one of them were justifying, the comments or the message that they were trying to put across. But from what I saw, or what I can say, is that there's a group, especially how do we call them? The members who are given the opportunity to serve as the cabinet secretaries, the experts. I can say that they are trying by all means to protect their positions. They're trying by all means to continue serving in the government. And you know very well that being that they are cabinet secretaries, there is no any bigger position than the position of a cabinet secretary. The only biggest position that they can go for is presidency, of which it is not a walk in the park. And for that reason, they are seeing it wise that they better maintain their positions and support the government and be contented with whatever they have. On the other hand, the likes of Sifuna, and I'm quite sure that Babu also still holds the same view, they are still coming out. I think they're seeing themselves as still young people, and they don't want to associate themselves with the ruling government, a government that, according to them, they have reasons why they're not supporting. So we are going to see what we are going to see. I don't think there's going to be uniformity on matters of agreement, uniformity on matters of where the ODM party is going to move in the coming days, because what we are seeing is a divided leaders, a divided people within the ODM party. And that, of course, clarifies the fact that there are going to be two factions as usual. I am seeing a possibility of a faction that is going to dissociate themselves from ODM, and that faction are going to form a political party. And that political party will associate themselves with the opposition side. But again, the real ODM or the main ODM will remain. And that main ODM, of course, with the party leader, Dr. Buru Odinga, And all those politicians who believes that it is their rightful right to be in the government, they are going to maintain. And one thing that I can also foresee is that they are going to be protected by the president, and whoever is going to have a negative view towards ODM, and especially who are still holding leadership positions, they are going to find it tough, because ODM is partly going to be ruled, or some of the decisions will be made by the president on how ODM will be run. And I'm also seeing a possibility of ODM together with UDA going to form a pact, and maybe possibly forming one political party in the coming days. That I'm saying so because if you listen to the president, remember he is a party leader of a political party, UDA. And for that reason, the kind of speech that he gave when speaking about ODM, remember, there is a group of politicians who feels that they were the founding members of the ODM. That is, of course, the President William Ruto. There's a good number of them. President Ruto has always said that he was part and parcel of ODM, and if kuna watu ambao wanataka kuleta mambo mengi, anaweza rudi kwa party ambacho yeye na wengine waliform. So from the speech alone, I can say that he's going to protect ODM party. He's going to speak together with those who believes in ODM and those who believes that they are supposed to continue being in government. That is what I can say. But of course, it is not going to be easy, because I'm also seeing a possibility of, if a section of the young leaders, of course, the likes of Sifuna, leaves the party, then there is a possibility that ODM is only going to remain, remain as in a specific area, probably in Luo Nyanza, but of course, that would also depend with the moves by some young political leaders who are also coming from the Luo Nyanza. That is, for example, should the likes of Babu Owino, the likes of Sifuna decide to move, then the new wave of young politicians and people coming with fresh blood might then try to destabilize ODM in its strongholds. I think that is my take.
Thank you so much. And I'm seeing our good friend, Laban Misiani. Baba left ODM in government at Makobura. You're just being reminded by Laban Misiani. And Laban Misiani, that is what we are discussing. And if he left ODM in government, why then should each and every time people being reminded that was what happened? Because like we've always known, or we've had this, that even Oledama Olekina said it, that when Baba say left is left, when Baba say right is left. Then if that is true, that he said left and left in government, then why then is there this feeling that some portion is not in government? That is a question that you will also assist us to answer in the comment section. And another thing also is about Edwin Sifuna, because like right now, when you go to the social media, you would find Edwin Sifuna trending, and it's trending based on the speech that he made. And he even decided to remind people the speech, especially, or the meeting that Baba had, the last meeting that he had, especially, I think it was in Machakos, I think so, about 2027, and Sifuna stood his ground. But now when you go to the social media, like I just saw that Alai wrote some few hours ago that in November, Sifuna will be leaving ODM and they wish him well. Mr. Miguda, what is your take on what took place, especially when the Right Honorable Prime Minister was being laid to rest? But you would see the division, especially in the party, and I think they could have had like a prior meeting as a party and say that, okay, we know we have this disagreement, that those are in government, and today let's just only have one piece. But what we saw at the ceremony of the Right Honorable Prime Minister. We are seeing all this, and we are saying that we are going to make sure that the party stay intact. Are you seeing them actualizing that? If they could not have even one message, especially as a party during the time when they are uh, giving last tribute to the Right Honorable Prime Minister?
Okay, first, I hope people should be clear and people should understand when someone is submitting, so that you don't mistake the panelist. Or I want to say, first, I agree, and it is in the public domain that Baba left ODM in government. That one is undisputed. But also Baba talked. We were in Kenya. Baba said, what Sifuna said. Baba said, who told you that 2027 ODM will not field a candidate? That is what Baba said. Whether you want to twist things, but that is what he said. We watched him say. So Sifuna was just saying what Baba said. But let me tell you, not that I'm supporting Sifuna. First, I want to tell you that politics works in a way that Sifuna will be kicked out. That's a surety. Not that Sifuna is incompetent, but because how they want things to work. And in my opinion, I can just say, if we are discussing about an end of an era, and it is everybody knows this is an end of an era. So if we have an end of an era, what do we have after an end of an era? A new era. And when we want to initiate a new era, in the old era, even Jesus was very clear that you cannot purport to make a new wine, then you want to put it in an old wine skin. New wine, new wine skin. Old wine, old wine skin. The people who were divisive in their tribute to Raila Odinga concerning ODM, those people are part and parcel of an end of an era which you are discussing. So if you are part and parcel of an end of an era, there was no effort you made by that time. So give us a break. What I want to say is that if Baba could have been living today, still people could have not been talking about those issues. So it means these people, all of them were interested in inheriting Baba, but they were not coming openly. And if that is the case, there are two wise gentlemen who are standing today in that event. James Agri Orengo, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o. They avoid ODM issues. Anyang' Nyong'o was very categoric on how Baba invited him to write a column concerning how we can do away with tribalism. They had a wide conversation. Orengo James was very categoric how Baba's victory was stolen. They avoided the issues of succession. So those two gentlemen are very wise because, like we have discussed with you, Baba was a spirit. Those understand what I'm saying, understand what I'm saying. It is the people who will decide. And I know my people. We know ourselves. The only person who could calm people down, the only person who could decide for the people, the only person who people could suspend their brain to is one Raila Odinga. And this current leadership, these ones, the ones who are scrambling to speech, I want to tell you, no one can submit to them. Let me tell you, because Baba was the only person people could listen to. And when we had said an end of an era, Baba is down 6 feet underground.
But would you mind sharing the link, please?
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, Miguel.
So, I'm saying Today, I was privileged to meet Junaid Mohammed, Suna East lawmaker, before he made the speech. But you know, when he spoke to me or us, because I was not alone with some people, indeed, it is very sad, the body language. But when he was given mic to speak, it was very clear that I'm not mourning myself. People were calling me casualty. From what I remember, Junaid spoke almost last because it's my minority in the National Assembly. So many speakers spoke before him. And Junaid Mohammed confirmed to us that many people have come to this podium to mourn. Many casualties are rare. So I'm going to be the chairperson for the casualties. So it is a reality that the party is not going to be united until the very end. The only person who could unite the party is Raila Odinga. And now it's no more. And if you hear different speakers who are scrambling for the position, each and every person was justifying that I spoke with Baba last. Baba told me. Baba invited me. Baba, there's no justification. And there are people who are very honest, who are saying, okay. And you know, like I told in my submission, that don't ask politicians. They will tell you, we will hold this party. This party, we will not leave it to any. The next stop, we'll see them with other affiliates. They will cry, oh, we have been isolated. Just take those people who are very strong about keeping the party. Watch them closely. You will find out that people can just decide to tell you what you want to hear, depending on that particular issue. Finally, the issue of ODM. Me, I'm hearing from ODM strong base, and I've told you that my relatives actually are in the government with the ODM tickets. And I just told you that I've spoken to an MP of ODM today. Things are okay when Baba was alive. Right now, things are okay until the time we let Baba to rest today. But let me tell you, in that ODM, those people you are seeing escorting Baba from airport, Kasarani, wherever, those people, we know them, we understand them, we converse with them on a daily basis. Those are the people who are not easy to rule. Those people, it is Baba who they take instruction from Baba, and that's how people just say, okay, our general is gone. The new general has to emerge, and you cannot come. And even if you look at the comment section, you know, even right now, before we came to studio, we have had conversation, phone calls across, people have received, we have discussed. So right now we can't anticipate much, but the real thing is the unifying factor is gone. The era has ended. We are not going to get it right the way Jacom used to get it right in that party. There are going to be a lot of issues in that party. And that's why yesterday I was very categorical, and I want to retain my statement. My friend who was seen to be closer to the throne actually is not even closer to it, because it's part and parcel of the old era. So, Brother Benson, I conclude by saying, in my opinion, as an observer, the unifying factor is not there. When he was alive, there were tension of divisive. Now, when he's dead, so we are going to be united when he's dead, but when he was alive, we were unable to unite. So I think that's my statement.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak. And we are waiting. Oh, sorry, not Mr. Barak, for Mr. Miguda. We are still waiting for Laban Misiani, who requested for a link, and we did so. Laban Misiani, you can also join in the studio and share with us what is going to be next. You know, I was really listening, and what you said that I did not mention, and I concur with you. Everybody, when you listen to the leadership of ODM, everybody who was given podium to speak, each and every person spoke to Baba, and Baba had a message for them, you know. And what I still don't understand, there's two messages that I was getting. There was the unity, and the unity. If you listen to what Honorable Millie Odhiambo was saying about the unity, he was talking about the unity of the Luo nation and knowing that this is the ODM is theirs. I don't know whether that unity was conveyed or was also given to her to talk about the entire ODM. That is one. Also, something that also came again is what I still want to know, that we were left in the government, and who are we? And I can categorically say about when President was speaking, he said this. I may not quote him correctly, but this what he said, that he gave Mbadi the ministry. And one of the reason is because if you get from his earlier speeches, he wanted to do something that has never been done. I don't know whether you understand that. So there's an intrigue. There's a messaging that it's so much complex than what we are seeing. There are so many things that are working behind the scenes, that especially concerning the ODM. And my worry is this. When you look at the lifeline of the political parties, especially in our country with prominent persons, immediately the prominent persons exits the political scene, either when they rest or either they leave power. You find that the party also die by them. So for ODM, that has been there for 20 years. And we have to give credit to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, where he's resting. In the Kenyan politics, apart from KANU, ODM has passed the test of time. And that the test of time that they've passed, that test is there. The test is going to be repeated. And will they pass it for the second time? Because Baba tried. Not he tried, he did well for the political party ODM to run for 20 good years. And in the 20 good years, they participated in every general election. And still they were strong. But now, the unifying factor or the personality behind the ODM is missing. Mr. Barak, what do you think will happen to ODM? And I want you to pick it from the division that we saw, especially in the podium, in the public, to what next for the party?
Thank you, Mark, for that. Before I respond to your question, let me just mention that Professor, if I don't say this, I will not be doing justice to Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o. That's a professor of political science. He mentioned that Baba told him to write a paper, not a column. A column you write in a newspaper, but a paper you do research and you write based on evidence. So that is what to write on. That's why you had him mention, because he is a professor of that specific area that was told to write on. So that is something that can even guide policymakers. When you do a scientific research, you guide even policymakers. They can even refer to your work when they are making policies. Now, the problems that are in ODM right now, that this is normal, because once you have a strong leader in the person of Raila Odinga, and all of a sudden is no more, there must be competing interest. Because when he was leading that party, we also had others with interest, but they were not willing to show those interests because of the fear of the lion in the house. Now the king lion is no more. So this interest must emerge. And this interest will emerge, and because even Raila himself, he did not create a clear succession path in ODM. That's why you see having three different deputies, party leaders. Having three different deputy party leaders shows you that succession will be a problem. And I don't know if you remember when Moi was about to retire, he had four vice chairs of KANU.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that. When you are about to exit the scene, managing succession is not easy. Even if you read the Bible, you'll realize that even King David struggled with succession, because when you are a leader and you led people for some time, you develop a bond with so many people that you are leading, to an extent that you are not willing to hurt either of them. So you just allow things to manage themselves in your absence. And I think that is what Raila did, because when he sent part of his team to the broad-based government, and we had a secretary who is vibrant, who is against this idea, he did not really worry. He did not really come out strongly to tell him, now you have to draw the line. So he allowed those two functions to grow within the party. And as a party leader, he did not care, or he did not attempt to bring order to ensure that everybody toes the line, and in the name of saying that we are allowing democracy within ODM, so that everybody can air their opinion. And when we have people who are holding on positions, and that's a very consequential, like the Secretary General, and they are speaking a different language, I think that's a worrying factor. And let me just say that this is very clear. And when we are talking about Marco Bura talked about the young people led by Sifuna. Do you know that Sifuna and Gladys are age mates? So Gladys, the chairperson, is also a young person, because Gladys is 44, Sifuna is 43, Simbarat is 43. So these are age mates. So these are just people who are trying they are interested in trying to emerge because of the absence of the party leader. So from my observation is that when Ruto said that he's not going to allow anybody who's trying to pull the ODM out of government and go and try to play Pata Potea in the opposition, he was very categorical that they're not going to allow anybody who's not supporting broad-based government in ODM. And the intention of putting Oburu Oginga as the party leader, it is very clear. It is to ensure that they deal with these dissenting voices within ODM who are not supporting broad-based government. So ODM is going to divide itself in not even in two, but in several functions. I don't know if you remember Ford. Ford was divided in how many functions? Ford Kenya, Ford Asili, Ford People. And even if you remember, there was a day we had KANU A and KANU B.
Yeah.
So when a strong leader exits the scene, these are normal issues that usually emerge. So we have ODM Asili, we'll have ODM A, we have ODM Original, because the people who are going to hold on to broad-based government, saying that it is Raila Odinga who brought us here. This is where we are. Mpaka kama watapita 2020 ama waanguke pamoja, watasema at least we stayed with you, but hatukufaulu. Because if Raila spoke to these people, but everybody had their own version, so you can see that people hold on to a message that serves their interest. It is not. Sifuna believes that the broad-based government does not serve his political interest. Gladys believes that the broad-based government serves her political interest. And Raila spoke to them in one meeting, but they have two different versions of what Raila said. So people are going to come up with theories of their own making, either to justify why they are in broad-based government or to justify why they are not with broad-based government. And you could see that even the deputy party leaders were not even also speaking the same language, because Abdul Samad was very clear that we are in the broad-based government. Yeah. And Arati was blowing cold feet and not even very sure, and saying bado mapambano is not mapambano ni nini hasemi, and is a governor who is serving his first term in office. And also he was also there, anasema alikuwa na baba mara Oserena mara kwake mara wapi, na hasemi exactly aliambiwa ni broad based government ama sio broad. So you see that even these deputy party leaders, they are not really sure of where they will be heading if things get worse in ODM. So the clarion call was that tutashikilia hii chama isimame imara. Tutashikilia hii chama if my interests are being served. If my interests are not being served, then nitasema hii chama imefanya ABCD, that is why tumeamua kufanya nini? Kujitenga. But wataenda kuform another thing that resembles ODM to continue perpetuating that they are advocating the aspirations of the late Raila Odinga. So this party, because of the leader that has been put in place, it is very categorical the direction they are going to take. And you know, appointing Odinga was not just a coincidence. It was strategic. And also to manage the interest of those who are serving in the cabinet. You know, Mbadi, if you listen to Mbadi, he was a real politician who is eyeing something we know ODM. But since he's serving in the cabinet, he's not allowed to hold any political position. But he's positioning himself as someone who can challenge to be a Luo leader, if you listen to his speech carefully. So the battle to succeed Raila Odinga as the leader of the Luo leader is going to claim so many casualties, according to me, because it is not going to be easy. And even in 2027 election, we will not have a clear leader as a Luo community. Yeah, it's going to go beyond 2027. Yes.
Okay, Barak. And maybe before I leave you, I want you also to touch on the acting capacity of Honorable Oburu Odinga. And you know, every time when such decision is being made, the Secretary General of the party must be there during that meeting when the NEC, majority of the times we know that. But you know, the acting of Oburu Odinga, this was made when Baba was embarking from India, when he had not even reached Kenya, and like the NEC decided to have a seat and have this meeting and decide that Oburu is going to be the acting capacity. And to my surprise also, remember the one day when Baba was just about to arrive, that was on Saturday, he said that he immediately after the burial of Raila, they will call a NEC meeting and ratify. And if he says that, and remember when they were being appointed to go as experts, one of the requirements was that they were not going to be politicians. They were going to be experts, you know, and even they resign and say that they're not members of ODM, you know. But now what we see is that they're coming in forcefully, like Kwanda is coming in forcefully. I saw you saw the energy and the voltage at which he was speaking at, you know. Do you still have hope that despite all this that is going to happen, Sifuna will fight back, or he will just decide to leave? Because it's going to be the first casualty. That is something I'm convinced beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, before there's something, there's a misconception that we have. I think this many people are not clear about this. Cabinet secretaries are members of political parties, but they're not supposed to hold positions in those parties.
Okay.
Yeah, the constitution forbids them from holding leadership positions. But in terms of membership, they are members of political parties. So these guys resign from holding leadership position in the party, but they're still members. And that is why you remember when Kindiki was appointed the deputy president, people asking question, how comes he is appointed? He's not a member of political party. They are actually members, but they are not holding leader, because the constitution says you should not be holding a leadership in any political party. But in terms of membership, they are. So when I said that we will, you know, when say we, he's not a member of NEC, because NEC are leaders of the political party, top leaders. And even I think I mentioned here yesterday that even these guys, they convened NEC without Secretary General, because Sifuna had gone to India to bring back Raila Odinga home. So in that NEC meeting, Sifuna was not there. Yeah. So that's why I'm telling you this was just as it was strategic,
Mm.
because they knew that with the in the with the when they meet with SG, in the presence of SG, he might bring some complication that they are not willing to consider. So that's why, because you know, Oburu has always been a staunch supporter of
Ambassador
broad government.
is
Yes.
ambassador of this government.
Yeah, so that means that the party automatically has been a broad-based government political party. So that is why those who are not towing that line, they are going to disembark from ODM, and they will form their own, and not, and I can they will even be more than two different groups. Because I think Simbarati, if Matiang'i gets vice as a presidential candidate, I can assure you, Arati will be in that, in the side of Fred Matiang'i. If Matiang'i becomes a presidential candidate, there's no way Arati will be out of that arrangement. And if you look at Ososi, he's also having a soft spot for Sifuna. So if Sifuna ditches ODM, I can see also Ososi doing the same, because in the name of the Luya community, we are being marginalized within this arrangement. And if you listen to Professor, Professor Nyong is the one who brought Sifuna in ODM to Raila and suggested that he be made a secretary general. And if you see him, the way he avoided ODM politics, and I don't know if you saw when they were heading to India, there was a journalist who called Professor to ask him questions. He told him, just talk to Sifuna. It's like Professor has a soft spot for Sifuna. And because of the Odinga's Odingaism in ODM, he might not really like it when they throw out Sifuna. So, and remember, Professor also going to retire. He's having his last term. So there are so many antics within ODM that only time will tell how it's going to break in different pieces. But for them saying that we are going to ensure that ODM holds together, that's just, it is very easy to say that when you are sending when you are arresting the party leader. But in reality, it's going to be very challenging, because even leadership, Babu Wino wants to become the leader, and he is not willing to get out of ODM. So what happens? He will try to challenge the leadership of ODM. Then once he fails, he will get now a valid reason to decamp, the way Raila did with Ford Kenya. So there's a lot that is going to happen as we head to 2027, and even post 2027, because after election they will start also blaming each other. Once many of them have lost, they will start now blaming each other and starting to re-strategize, because you know, politicians, if they lose, they start to strategize on how to return in the next election. So we are yet to see. So that this was just a mirror of what is going to come in the next few days.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak. And also before we also need to talk about there's this a very strong pillar in Raila's family that each and every leader would commend, and this is Winnie. And there's also something also I realized today, especially when the family of the John Pombe Magufuli was really represented by her daughter, that is Jessica Pombe Magufuli. And if you're a very keen follower of the Tanzania politics and you look at the family of Jessica Magufuli, I mean, like John Pombe Magufuli, you find that Jessica is the girl who is usually on the limelight, especially in that family. Like she becomes like a very spokesperson of the family. You know, people will talk about Mama Jessica and Jessica Pombe Magufuli, you know. And when you come to the Odinga's family, especially, Winnie has been seen like somebody who is confident, you know, like the safe havens for the family, because like he has been with the right honorable prime minister, and she always talk about his father. They call him Pop. And you know, if you look at the political parties, something that we have to agree that political parties are individually owned and their property, and that also could have informed the decision for Buru to be given that party, because it belongs to Raila, you know. So do you see any hand of Winnie Odinga at some point taking ODM or taking charge to keep ODM safe? At some point, if things are going to go haywire.
Yeah, and even if you listen to her statement today that I'm ready to come back home, she was trying to mention that she's ready to come back home and seek elective position maybe in Kenya and lead from that angle. Because if you look at within the Raila family, she's the only one who stands a chance of being winning an elective seat, because the other siblings are not really inspiring at all. And even the mother will hold her hand, and the likes of Gladys and Mabona, because they will also want to see, they're saying that Raila was fighting for the rights of women. She was empowering women leadership, and that is very evident. You see, even in Nairobi, we only have one female member of parliament, courtesy of Raila Odinga, because if Raila Odinga could have not given Beatrice Elachi a direct ticket, she could have not made it even through nomination, because the nature of Nairobi politics, how it is very competitive. So Raila really empowered so many women. So I think they would really want to give back to the Raila Odinga through holding the daughter's hand and trying to ensure that she is selected and she becomes a powerful figure within ODM. So that with the intentions of maybe becoming a senior official of ODM. So that's why you see it is very strategic to put Oburu there. But you also need to understand that even within the household of Oburu, we also have people who are eyeing for these things, the likes of Jaoko. But Winnie stands out because of how she has also portrayed herself, and you could hear her name being mentioned today by almost even the president praised her for being very brave. So all these speakers, the intention was to make Winnie look very relevant and positioning her as a potential leader within ODM fraternity. And I'm sure that even the mother will play a very critical role. Ida pia kuna sauti sana kwa ODM. It's not just that to bibi ya Raila too. She had a lot of stake within ODM, the leadership of ODM. So she will also try to propel her daughter into joining ODM leadership, and maybe with the intention of taking it over because it is their property, as you will say.
Yeah, it is. That's something that we have to agree, because from the look of the reason why I'm saying that, even like majority of the decision that were being made, some of the pronouncements were made by the Right Honorable Prime Minister, because remember, even the 10-point agenda, the committee that was supposed to be formed especially to look into the 10-point agenda, the Prime Minister mentioned it in the interview, but like when they met as NEC, it came to be true. So it tells you. Maybe Barack, hold on a little bit, and let me also engage Miguda, especially. And we want to look at now in the family of Odinga, including Raila. Would we say that Oburu, bearing in mind that Oburu also his age, the age, and is not on his side, even though he's fighting and saying that he's a Gen Z. Are you seeing that Oburu is holding in brief, especially so that Winnie will come and take over the party? Because I don't think that, even the way Winnie was saying that she's coming back home, you will not come home in a chaotic scenario. You want to come home when everything are in order, because when you come, it is very chaotic. It will take you time to bring it into order, or it will not have that attraction, the fan base that the ODM has to have. So do you see that Oburu will be holding in brief, especially for Winnie, once things are settled and all these infights are over? Then when Winnie comes back home, she will come home, take the leadership of the party as she vies maybe for a member of parliament, senator, or even being appointed, especially to be the vice deputy. He can deputize even the president, because that part of ODM until beyond 2027.
Okay, first, Winnie, to me, and that's why I outrule my friend, because I saw Winnie. And the reason why I must give Winnie a benefit of doubt is because Winnie bear that royal blood. You know, she's born in a royal family, and now the king is dead, and the crown is there. Probability in the nature of the Luo culture, when a king passed away, when the heir apparent is a toddler, the council of elders usually hold in brief until the right time for the heir to clinch the seat. But in this case, Oburu is now the party leader, an elder. And you know, we understand that Winnie bears that royal blood, but you must fight for it. You must fight for the throne because you saw everybody want it, including John Mbadi of you and I, experts. So what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that Winnie has a chance. That's a fact. Winnie has a chance. Winnie need to stretch, just a little bit stretch, then she get it. Winnie, Oburu can hold in brief, the way I've told you the history of Luo, when the king is gone and the prince is still back. So when Winnie we need to fight. So what I'm trying to say, there's going to be war, and that's the reality that people are trying to avoid. There's going to be war, a real war in the ODM. Winnie might not fight. So the people who are holding there will fight for Winnie, the likes of Wanga. So when the right time comes, she can have a soft landing. That one can be strategic because they understand the main thing. And I just want to say one thing. You know, when it comes to issues with the succession, if you want to succeed, Winnie, she's young, in my view. Winnie can take the next generation into leadership, the next generation, because of the age. And even people like Makobra, who want to join politics, their age. People like Makobura can easily work with Winnie, but not John Mbadi, but not Opio and I, but not Uburu. So when Winnie comes into play, she can take away the younger generation towards leadership. That's why I'm giving her a benefit of doubt, because even me from where
Migoda, you talked about young generation. Do you foresee a situation whereby we have younger generation in ODM, as Barack also had mentioned about Wanga, Sifuna, and Babu Owino, and he comes and put them into order and say, okay, we need to change the ideology and bring the new face into the party. Do you foresee that one happening?
I foresee that one happening, but I've given an example whereby someone is holding for in brief Oburu Odinga, and is holding in brief with the so-called young people like Wanga and Sifuna. And I've given an example whereby people are going to fight for this thing. So after we have fought, the strongest person will emerge. So we can say maybe they want the daughter or the girl not to engage into this war because it's going to be a very tough war. And they want her to get a soft landing. And there are people, let me tell you one thing with this ODM, some people do not know. That there are people in that ODM, and ODM is very complicated. There's a certain war you can be fought in that party. You will not see the people fighting you, but utaenda. What happened to Ababu Namwamba? There's a certain wing in that party, so-called the ones of Joasten Odiwuor. Not the one for Odiwuor Ongwen. I don't know how it is being called. There are so many. There's NEC, there's Central Committee, but there's another one for Odiwuor Ongwen and other people. Those people, they understand that if you are a threat to the status quo, you will go. And if the status quo settles on Winnie, the so-called young one you are mentioning, people like Sifuna and Wanga, they have to exit. So what I was trying to say is that, in my view, why I am giving Winnie a benefit of doubt is because if the fact of hereditary because we have been part of that system. We can say now it is an end of era. Even Jaramogi died, it was an end of an era. But we have been into that hereditary structure. And in case of any emergence of a person from that family, Winnie stand a chance amongst the other people. And if not Winnie, let me tell you one thing here. Me, I'm part of the community. I'm able to feel and I'm able to get who can be. Even if you are able to feel, you understand it is the so-called spirit. So if it is not Winnie, maybe we have an extension. If it must come from, I'm not saying that it must come, but in case it will go back there. I saw some people, the young people, the Gen Z. There were some, I saw like three people, three boys. They reflect that spirit. But amongst the sons here, amongst the kids of Raila Odinga, I can say Winnie stand a chance. And if you look at the Oburu's family, Jaoko is coming a little bit. But there's some young grandchildren there. I saw them. They can stand a chance. In case it will go back to Odinga family. But because sometimes things happen, an era can end and we have a new era. A new era can emerge from somewhere else. We are yet to refer. But as currently, what we are seeing and what we can discuss, the daughter stand a chance because of the circumstances surrounding the succession of the king.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Miguda, for that. And it's a conversation that we will be continue having. And Makobura, let me also engage you, and maybe you can let me know, because for quite some times we've always seen, I can call it the arrogancy, especially from ODM members, when it comes to especially talking to people like Sifuna. They would say that Sifuna is a bukusu, there's nothing that you can do, enda huko form party yako. You see that such like comments usually comes. If that one continues, do you see ODM having that outlook of the nationality?
Okay, it's the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya is very clear, and of course the political acts. I mean the political party acts also are very clear that whenever you're forming a political party, it should be a party having the views, of course, that are representing what the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya talks about. It does not allow for or speaks about having a political party that is ethnic based or tribal based. For that reason, I think those people are coming with the narrative that, oh, Sifuna or so and so is from a certain region, they're not supposed to speak. I don't think that is a good, discussion or a good thing to say, because political parties should have a national look. National look means that it should have people coming from different areas, people coming from different regions, having different views, and that, of course, is what the Constitution also acknowledges. To me, if we have a narrative similar to the ones that you've just spoken about, then it is one that should not be allowed. Because if then every tribe or every region starts having their own political parties, then we will not really get to a point where all of us, the people of Kenya, have always wanted to get to. Yes, having many political parties is a good thing because we have what we call multi-partyism. But again, the political parties should be ones which are advocating for the views of the people, one that is inclusive, a political party that bring people together, people coming from different cultures, from different regions, making them reason and to come up with solutions, of course, which are going to assist the entire people of Kenya. And that is my view. If the likes of Sifuna, for example, with the mentioning that we are seeing from certain members of ODM that he is from a certain region, he should then leave if he has a divergent opinion, to me, that is one thing that I don't advocate for, because that coming together of people having different views is what really makes a country. In Kenya, we have quite a number of people, tribes or culture, and that is what really defines us. If then we come up with a narrative that this region is supposed to be holding this, then it is not safe or good for the country, because we are at a point where you've seen politicians, you saw the president, you've always heard Raila Amollo Odinga speak about certain countries that Kenya used to be in the same league, but certainly today they are almost 10 times or far much better doing good than Kenya. It's if you look at those countries and try to look at what they did good or better, then you'll realize that they did not focus on tribe, they did not focus on region, but they focused on something that was going to assist them as a country. ODM might have serious problems with this narrative, because there is a group of people who feel that they are more into ODM than others. And that is a wrong mentality or a wrong thought. Because the moment they start reasoning that ODM is, for example, a Luo political party or a Nyanza political party, then ODM will be getting into its deathbed. Remember, ODM is a party that is respected and has followers across the entire 47 counties, as much as it does not have strong grounds in certain counties, but again, it has what we call a good support in the entire region. So people coming with this type of thinking are not doing good for ODM, because it is a party, of course, that has been advocating for the rights of the people across the entire region of the Republic of Kenya. It is a party that has partly fought for what we call democracy that is being enjoyed across the entire counties or regions of the Republic of Kenya. And that is how ODM should be. It should be an inclusive party, a party that is, welcoming and understanding the views of others. It is not wrong for people to have divergent opinion, but the best thing or the good thing is they should be listened to. And upon listening to them, you should look at whether their points are making sense, whether their points are points which are going to save the party or not. That is what I can say. But again, there's also a question that Brother Barak and Mikuda did talk about, specifically on who then might come and take over the party. Yeah, we understand, unfortunately, that Kenyan political parties are like businesses, private businesses, and we've always seen what we call political party leaders having a bigger say in these political parties and everything that, and all the operations of the political party. And for that reason, what we've always seen, based on that narrative, we can say that the ODM party has been Raila Amollo Odinga's business. And if we go then with the narrative that we've always seen in the Republic of Kenya, then there is a possibility. Currently, we are seeing, of course, the acting party leader is Dr. Odinga, the brother to the late Raila Amollo Odinga. That is a sign that they still have what we call a huge investment in it, and they cannot just leave it anyhowly. And again, based on the comments that I was seeing and the uploads that Winnie Odinga was receiving, I'm quite sure that she's also being prepared for a big position within the party, and not just within the party, in the Republic of Kenya, because we've always seen again political friendship among the political class, where if I become a governor, I'll look for my friends and I'll give them or nominate them as CCs. This is one of the things that we've always seen in the Republic of Kenya. And again, I can categorically say here that the family of Raila Amollo Odinga, or the Odinga family, will continue. We will continue to hear about them. We will continue to hear them in the political limelight, holding political seats, holding political positions like cabinet secretaries, PS, and all those, because the political class has, brought what we call, they do remember each other, and is one thing that we have always witnessed as a people. That is what I can say about that same topic. Unless Migoda, you have anything to add on that, or Barak? Miguda?
Oh, I think I've talked about that issue, and I just want to say things will just unfold by themselves. Like we said, after giving the king the befitting send-off, people should not be worried. Those things are expected. That's politics. At the end of the day, the people will get a leader at the right time. We can't fix things instantly, that we have buried him today, then the leader must come tomorrow. Who is the leader? Those questions are here and they're there, but I think it will take a little bit of time, and we need to be patient. And at least sometimes it's also good to take a break and allow also other people to play. Try to hold in brief, or they're just a passing wave. So after they have passed, then the rightful leader will just emerge, who will be reflecting the community values, ideals, not only the community, but to an extension of the Kenyan national values and principle of governance, because those are the roots that made Raila to be towering person. And not that everybody must be Raila. I want us to also get rid of that one, because we are different, all of us. I am Migoda. The way I view things is not the way Barack view things. The way Mark view things, the way I do my things. That's the sweetest part of making it different, complicated. It's complicated. We are complicated. We are different. That's why it's very interesting. But if we are, all of us can be Raila, then there's no country here. So I just want to say, from my view, currently, we are going to take a break, and we just work with what is there. And from there, I think along the way, things will just work out very good. And definitely, what I'm certain sure, I know a better leader will emerge with a different style and better ideals that will automatically reflect the anticipation of the people.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe my last question, Mr. Barak, is what is your take on the speech that was made by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta about Raila Amollo Odinga? Remember, towards 2022, we saw, after the handshake, a close relationship between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amollo Odinga, where they used to call each other brother, brother, brother. And of course, the other day you saw them have a conversation. The other day you saw Uhuru say that they were so close. And not just that. Again, you can also give us your comment on Kalonzo Musyoka, who has always stood by Raila around 4 times as he's been vying for presidency. Yesterday was not given a chance, but today, you saw the comments of the people in the social media. Today was given a chance, and as he has always, he did take a few minutes and he eulogized his friend, a man that he had always been his running mate 4 times. You can give us your take on those two, and then you can give us your final remarks, Mr. Barak. And then Migude will also come give us his take on Kalonzo Musyoka's comment and the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's comment and his final remarks. Barak.
Mark, umemwongezea zingine mbili. Amekuwa running mate 4 times. Kalonzo was a running mate for 2 times, 2013 and 2017. 2022 alikuwa Martha Karua. So, politicians work with one another to safeguard their interest. You remember in 2007 when Kalonzo worked with Kibaki to safeguard his interest, and he became the vice president, denying Raila the chance to become the president. And when his interest was raised to work with Raila, he worked with him in 2013 and 2017. So I don't know why people are making it a big deal that he has been standing with Raila, but Raila has never won election with him anyway. So it was, well, I think Uhuru did not say much. He said that he talked at Nyayo Stadium on Thursday. No, on Friday. Yeah, on Friday. So he was just he said that he will not repeat, but he spoke well as a statesman. Time was far much spent, and he just eulogized Raila Odinga being his friend. There were so many speeches in that funeral that were poking holes on so many souls, so many hearts. Remember Orengo talking about election being stolen in 2017. That was a direct attack to Uhuru Kenyatta, speaking about those who opposed the constitution. That was a direct attack to William Ruto. So those speeches, they were being released like missiles. And remember Orengo saying that we have also men who are not supposed to be wearing trousers. He was just referring to Will Kalonzo for disappearing during the Raila swearing in. So those speeches were being released, directed to specific individuals. If you are aware of the Kenyan political landscape, you will realize whom this person is talking about. So that could have made them a little bit not comfortable. Because sometimes when someone is talking about you in a funeral, and that that you did something that was not good to the deceased. So I think he spoke well, very short. The way Gypsy Kona is saying it, inaitwanga short, precise and concise. So there was nothing hidden. There was no political message. Ruto's speech was full of politics and full of, like, he was selling a manifesto. He was campaigning. He was politicking. He was looking for allies. So Uhuru, it was just concise and precise. It is good that they gave Kalonzo a chance to eulogize Raila and Pierre Roy Tulie. I was just impressed the way alikatiza hiyo safari yake ya ng'ambo akarudi. That was good. You give it to him. So when someone wasemanga mgala muue na haki yake mpe. When someone does something good, just give it to them. The way we are saying, Ruto has done a great honor to Raila Odinga by giving him a state funeral. That is the best thing that could have happened, and we give it to him. And when Raila died, remember Kalonzo has just arrived in London for his 10 days tour or trip, but he was there only for 2 days. Then he came back. So when someone does something that is, you can see a sacrifice in it, you can give it to him. So that was well. And I just want to say that even though we are looking forward to ODM stabilizing and having being a strong political party, and being the Luo people getting a new leader who will unite the people and maybe lead them in the new political dispensation. I just hope that we will not have a scenario where we have another dictatorship within the Luo community. Raila now has rested, and we know the history of ODM, how they've been treating people within the Luo Nyanza, how they've been dishing out party tickets to loyals and not performers, and that has really affected the development trajectory of the Luo community. So if the Luo people can be free to vote for their leaders without party dictating to them whom to vote for, I think that will be a great thing to happen, so that people are voted based on competence. When people cry about kingpin, they just want to continue riding on the shoulders of the so-called kingpin, so that they can continue being lazing around their responsibilities and failing to offer leadership and development where they are being elected, because they will be knowing that now we have a new kingship, a kingpin will just be riding on his shoulders, and that should not happen again. People must be competent, and everybody should stand a chance to be elected. If you look at like the Western region, you can see leaders emerging, people that were not known at all, but because of that freedom to choose whoever you want, the leaders emerging. Even if you look at other regions, people have been emerging in leadership. People who have no background at all, but because of they've proven that they have the capacity to lead, wanapata hiyo opportunity. But if you look at Luo Nyanza, we've had people who have been there, people who have been holding on to the kingpin, so that they can continue riding on his shoulder, wapate his positions. But if you look at their track record, they have nothing to show off. So if that can change, so that even if we have a strong political party, even if we have a leader who is uniting the people, but the voters are free to vote in whoever they wish, that will be a great development, even in terms of democracy. So that we will not be having a party that dictates to the voters that you must vote for this person, you must vote for this person, and you dish out nomination free tickets, to direct nomination ticket to people who are not competent enough to lead, and so that even the Luo community also enjoy the development that we are seeing in other parts of the country. And these people who are talking about kingpin, they just want to continue benefiting from incompetence leadership, because that is what they are used to. So change is here. Let's embrace change, but let us not rush into kingpin issue, because we want to continue entertaining incompetent leaders in parliament, in county governments, at the expense of development of the Luo region. So this is a very, very critical moment that people should reflect on, so that if there are issues that were not going right in the previous era, people can start now correcting them. Because we know Raila was a human being. He had his own flaws also. He was a human being with flaws, but we've been mourning him, focusing on the positive things that he did. But now on the negative things, now we can start discussing going forward, so that we can also open our eyes and not fall victim of the things that were not right under the ODM for the last 20 years in the Luo Nyanza region. So that is where I will end today. I know these are discussions that we'll continue having as we continue with the discussion, charting the way forward. And this, many of us that Junet Mohammed is going to gather so that he can become their chairperson, these orphans will also have their own political party, maybe ODM political orphans union, because there are many people who have been riding on the shoulders of Raila Odinga, and they have been elected, and they are not doing anything in their constituencies. So those people, the writing is on the wall. Their days are numbered. My final comments. Today, after resting Mzee, and I went out for a date with Gypsy Corner, and I'm so happy for what happened. And at least today we are going to bed smiling after so many days. Winning at Anfield is not for anybody. Yeah, remember hata wale watu wakana kelele kule London walienda kule Anfield, they saw fire. So beating Liverpool at Anfield is not a walk in the park, and that is what has given me great joy this evening. And I feel so relieved, and and I feel so relieved, especially the pressure was very, very huge on Amorim to win at least 2 games. Tangu akuje bwana, 35 matches, jamaa anashinda moja anagongwa 4, anashinda moja anagongwa 5. So at least now for the first time ameshinda back to back, which is good. Now we are looking forward at least the big teams, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. Tumepoteza 2, tumepata 2. So going forward, I hope they are going to capitalize on that momentum as we face the other teams that are very tricky. Next match I think is Brighton, very tricky. But if they capitalize on that and they start winning, the difference between number 9 Manchester United and number 1 Arsenal is 6 points, and those are 2 matches. So na games imechezwa ngapi sasa hivi? Is it 8 or 7? So you can see we are not badly off the way we expected. Liverpool, I need you you invested a lot of millions of sterling pounds, but these players, hey, afadhali Zesco, Isak, I don't know, these guys over 100 million, but up to now, anyway, time will tell. 8 games and 13 points. Very bad, but not badly off. 8 games, number 1 is 16 points. Si mbaya sana. But Liverpool, 4 games in a row, I feel for you. We've been there before. It's not a good feeling, especially when expectation is very high on you and you are needed to win after spending all those millions on players. So thank you so much, guys. It was so nice being with you tonight. All our viewers in the comment section. Gypsy Corner, pole sana. Tukikuja Old Trafford tutawasalimia tena. And in the meanwhile, mbaki salama and let's continue with that spirit. See you next time. Bye bye. Nimewacha. I've stopped Gypsy Corner. Bye.
Okay. Thank you so much, Barak, for finding time to be with us and for giving us your opinion. We really appreciate. To our viewers, this is Baba Benson Media. Here we say that your opinion counts. Mr. Miguda, maybe you can also give us your take on the comments of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and the comments of Kalonzo Musyoka, who has always been, as it was being mentioned in social media, stood with Raila Odinga.
Kalonzo Musyoka remarks were good for a buddy. They have been buddies, and that's the best Kalonzo could have done to bro. And Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, to me, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has demonstrated that there is a brother from another mother. And even when Ruto left, and look at the way he dressed today. Yes, he was just on a casual. And when Ruto left, he remained behind with the Dr. Odinga at the graveside, witnessing the final rites of his brother and friend. Uhuru, big up. I can just give Uhuru big up. And let me tell you one thing. There is no need of hating other people or tribalism. We should stop tribalism, because if the Luo community are embracing Uhuru Kenyatta and Jimmy Wanjigi, and some people are saying, let us not embrace Gachagua. Let me just give you an example. What's the difference? they're just from Mount Kenya. So you see the way these things are very tricky. Politics. Don't be misused by politicians. Love one another, one nation, one people. These shenanigans of tribalism or hating other people because where they're coming from or because their position. Those are the things that we are going to fight going forward as a Kenyan people. There's not going to be any room for tribe here. And that's why Gen Zs were very clear, tribeless. It doesn't help you because remember, look at what happened. So let us be one people, one nation, and that's what has demonstrated that leave alone those things like tribalism or politics. Just embrace other people. And also the people who are shouting against other people should stop those things. Bye-bye. We understand, we know there's politics and there's tribalism. So if it's politics, let's do politics. But if you want to tribal, keep it at your doorstep. Don't bring it to the nation. The nation, we are late. We need to be one people, one nation. We embrace people and we love one another. Makubal, I think that is our can say. And let me just say my final remarks. You know, I lost Baba. I was in grief. And it could be hard for me also to lose in the Premier League. So I just want to thank Mbuemo and Harry Maguire for at least assisting me to carry some burden. And I like the fact that you understand, Gibbs Corner is a Liverpool fan, we are a Manchester fan, but we are still engaging here. That is how it should be. That's what I believe. That's what I'm preaching. That irrespective of our diversity in which circumstances, but we should not lose our friendship, our networking, our contact, and our goal as a nation. We can differ, but after difference, we come together and focus what we should be doing. And that was a very good start for me. Understand me, I'm also passing through hell in the Premier League. I've not been doing good, but I just want to say that we are here to see how things will unfold. And also, I would like to appreciate our viewers. We really appreciate you, our viewers. And I saw our good friend Laban Misiani came. Laban Misiani has been mourning, and Laban Misiani has not been feeling well. No, he was really attacked. I understand the situation because even in the community, the 45 years and above are really mourning. Some people right now I can speak to you. Some people died. Some people are currently sick. Some people are still mourning. And even you can see people shedding tears, men, not women, men shedding tears. So it was really heartbreak. And I feel for you, Laban Misiani. Pole kwetu sisi na wewe. I think as time goes by, we'll get up. And I saw Judith Karita. Thank you for coming to the show. Our Gen Z general. We are going to fight. Sometimes we'll fight in the future. I also saw Gypsy Corner. So Gypsy Corner, thank you Gypsy Corner for coming to the show, and also thank you for the support for the channel. I saw Shaima Hussein. Thank you for coming to the show. I was able to, those are the people I'm able to see from my screen. And then Marco Bura, thank you for hosting us together with Brother Benson Media, and also Barack for coming to the show. And just what someone has said, Raila Odinga Jr., the wife Raila Odinga Jr., she's a Kikuyu, and that is the prince. That is a son to a king. And when someone marries a Kikuyu here, you will start saying that, oh, a Kikuyu wife. So the one for Junior cannot be seen, but for mine can be seen. Those are the things we are saying, shenanigans, supposi. There's no tribalism. There's no tribalism in marriage. Marriage is a union between two adults who have consented to live together freely in exception of the other person. If we have agreed to live with you together without any other person consent, and we are adult, none of your businesses. Let it be private. Let us focus on bigger issues. That's why I'm saying, hii mambo ya ukabila, we must finish it. Let us avoid these things. It is not making sense anyway. Let's just live as one people, one nation, with one accord, one indivisible Kenya. Makobura, see you next time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for your take. Allow me to appreciate everyone who joined us this evening. And once again, this is Blabber Benson Media. And here we say that your opinion counts. I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to Goodia, Shaima Hussein, thank you so much. Laban Misiani, thank you so much. Douglas Kibogong, Santa Sana. Judith, thank you so much. And everyone who joined us this evening, we really, really appreciate. And we say a big thank you for finding time to join us this evening. Allow me to also say thank you to Eric Osewe, Kennedy Sankara, Semekia Wakiaga, and everyone who joined us. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to now wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow.